What up party people, another e-bike review, and today we are looking at the Vitilan i7 Pro 2.0 folding fat tyre e-bike. Gotta say, this thing is a beast. Taking this on a 25-30 mile ride today. I'll give you a quick look round, show you what it's got. In essence, 750 watt motor, 20 amp hour 48 volt battery, Samsung battery, 20-inch tyres, Bafang. Motor's also Bafang. Shimano Altus gear set. It is very, very similar to an e-bike I've previously reviewed, with a few differences. Every part of it is upgraded, but it's a cadence sensor, not a torque sensor. What I'll do, I'll bring you in and show you around, because it's just starting to rain, my luck. And then I'll tell you how it went, and you're fooling. So, from the cockpit, 8-speed gear shifter, you have Logan hydraulic brakes, just turn that on. You have a full colour display. Can you see that? You can see it absolutely fine with your eyes. Broken holder, don't worry about that, that's mine, I broke it. Throttle, which can be disengaged easily. There's your little controller. As I say, flappy paddles. Folding handlebars, plastic mud guards, 20-inch by 4-inch wheels. The tyres are an upgrade from the previous, they're really good tyres. Bafang mags, 180mm disc brakes front and rear, and they are Logan. As you can see, it folds in the middle. Oh, suspension. You can pop this off and pump it up with air to your suiting, and you can adjust how much suspension you have on that side. Works really well. It has a key that you need to turn on to start it, and also that will unlock the battery when it is folded, so you can remove the battery and charge it inside. I think that all e-bikes should have a key to enable you to start them. That's just me. A lot don't. A lot don't. Mid suspension, which works. Folding pedals, metal. Stand. 180 disc brakes at the back, as I said. 25 kilogram Dubry Ferk. Brake lights and integral indicators. 750 watt Bafang motor. Plastic mud guards. There's your seat. Up and down. Folds in the middle. It looks exactly the same as a previous bike that I reviewed, and I absolutely loved it. This thing is a beast. Oh, me plums. Let's try that again. So as you can see, this has got a rated rider height of 5'5" to 6'4". You got rear shocks, front shocks. They do a job. They work absolutely fine. That's the sort of leg extension I'm currently getting if I'm on my tiptoes. I'm 5'9" and a fag butt, nearly 5'10". Depends what time of day you catch me on. One thing I will say with this is the folding mechanism is the same as every other folding mechanism you have, but as you will hear, it is the most freaky thing in the world. When this comes out of the box, it comes completely assembled. All you got to do is unfold it, get on it, and you are off. I'm now going to put the footage in of the ride, then I'll bring you back and give you my final thoughts. You're going again. So as usual, we'll see how it pedals as a bike. Very easy to pull away. Cycling through the gears. No issue at all. You can feel a bit of the rolling resistance, but it's got fat tyres. So it's a windy old day today. You might need to bear with me with the wind noise, but I can say, if you did run out of battery with this thing and you had to pedal it home, it's not bad to pedal. Not bad to pedal at all. So, coming up to my first 10% hill of the day, and this thing boasts it can climb up to a 30% hill. I'm in pedal assist free. It's unlocked at the minute. I'm doing a little bit quicker than what I should be, not a lot. And I am in top gear, 8th gear. Let's see how easy it powers up. Let's crank it straight up to 5. Every time you change that power assist, you can feel it pull away, the actual acceleration. And I'm climbing up here at 22 mile an hour on a 10% hill. It's actually quite bonkers. The power this 750 watt motor delivers is awesome. That is the easiest I've climbed that hill. 23 mile an hour, 24 mile an hour, still climbing. I know, wee. See what I mean? The power's instant. It cuts off when you put your brakes on and it restarts. Let's have a little look. Let's go down to I'm doing over 30. How quickly that power kicks in. About a second. Real comfy bike to ride at speed. Currently doing 32 miles an hour. It feels as sturdy as you like. So far, this bike is doing all right. So just to show you the speed of legs pedalling at 28 miles an hour, I'm not pedalling like a nutter. This Altus, Shimano Altus gear set is doing a fine job. And as far as the throttle goes, again, you can feel the acceleration. Carrying me up this hill, still doing 27 miles an hour. Not a very steep hill, granted. Probably about 7%. 26 and a half. 24 and a half. And getting to the top of the hill at 21 and a half miles an hour. That is good power delivery. Also, what I've noticed is when you hold the throttle down for however long and then let it go, you get cruise control until you dab the brake like that. Settings on this bike, 1 through 5, are the same as with normal cadence sensors, different speeds at different levels. So 10.8 I'm currently doing in power setting 2, and it allows you to keep up with it. It's not too bad as a cadence sensor. This bike is very similar to a bike I reviewed a while ago, which I absolutely love. All of the components on this, the brakes, the shocks, the wheels, are all upgraded compared to that bike. Looks exactly the same, with the exception of plastic mud guards. Headlights are different. Got indicators, but this is a cadence sensor over the other one's torque sensor. And personally, I prefer the torque sensor as it gives you a feeling of more control. And for off-road use, certainly, you're going to notice that. But this is an absolute dream to ride, to be fair. Let's have a look. I'll go up to number 3. Instantly, you saw that pull away. That takes you up to 16 and a half miles an hour. Obviously, this comes locked at legal limits for the UK, although it is a 750 watt motor, so it's not legal anyway. If you're not driving like a knobhead, I don't know why you'd get pulled over. But I still prefer the torque sensor. Not the bike's fault, the bike is a cadence sensor. Just my personal preference. Handles a little bit of the rough stuff absolutely fine. It's a real comfy ride. But again, just to show you, I'm not sure if you're going to pick it up. Have a look when I change up power settings to how quickly that power gets delivered. It's a little rocket. Again, I know it comes locked, I know it's illegal, but having that sort of power at your fingertips, if you're not used to it, could land you in a bit of bother, but it is fantastic. It is fantastic. I really like this bike. Just a shame, not a torque sensor. Yep, about half a second it takes to kick in on that cadence sensor. They've done a really good job with it. I would say it's the best cadence sensor I ever ridden. I really would. So normally on these reviews, I leave everything as UK law. I've barely touched throttle today just to show you what it's like, but I have kept this unlocked, which means at the moment, I'm not having to get out of pedal assist 2. So the range it claims, you know, it's got a big range. Again, I always hit around about the 60-mile mark. I'm going to be doing about 25 today. Very, very comfortable place to be. The folding fat tyre e-bikes out there have got a lot to live up to if they're competing against this. I would still pick my current e-bike, which I've reviewed, which is the same bike, just the torque sensor, purely for the torque sensor. But every other part of this, coming up to a hill, every other part of this is just amazing. If you're going to be critical about it, and again it's a personal opinion, the snatchiness of that drive, as you can see, straight in, could catch some people out if they're not used to it, and you are going to have to be shifting through the pedal assists just to make sure you're not rocketing through cycle paths and putting people in danger. The horn does the job, not too offensive. Prefer a bell, but this bike, what a bike. Obviously can't speak for longevity yet. It's just a real comfortable place to be. Seating a little bit far forward, my toes are pointing over the top of the pedals. Plenty of room in front of me so I'm not kicking the wheel. The seat's really adjustable, the handlebars are really adjustable. They say from 5'5" to 6'4". Definitely 5'5" to 6'4". The lights are bright, the brakes are good. Hydraulic disc brakes, I believe they're 180. I'll have a look when I stop. But for a commuter, moped style commute, you really, really couldn't go wrong with this bike. You really couldn't go wrong with this bike. You can ghost pedal at 28 mile an hour, use a throttle at 28 mile an hour. Obviously slow down when the law's about. It does look fairly aggressive, not overly. Motor's not hugely noisy, no rattles, no bangs. I actually prefer the fact that I've gone back to plastic, not gone back to, I prefer the fact that I've got plastic mud guards over the metal ones. Living the dream. One thing this does give you, over a lot of them, is the confidence to ride on some of the busier roads where you may take footpaths. Because 28 mile an hour, you're going to be holding up a lot less people. Now granted, you have got to keep your eye out for Johnny Law, but luckily I'm in America at the moment. God damn, this bike has got some legs. It's not the fastest bike in the world. It has got the same top speed as the Engwe Pro 2.0 if unlocked. It's pretty much the same specs. It's just a lot quicker giving it to you. Easy. The rear suspension seems fine. Am I waffling enough for you all? I use my indicator. Now what I would say is the indicators, although they're there, they're part of the brake light. I'll still use my hands and take my head off. Got them. It does have indicators. Effortless bleeding ride. I could actually, if I wanted, do this 25-30 mile route in next to no bloody time. I could knock out 5 reviews a day if all the bikes were like this. So we are now on the gravelly stuff, and as you would expect with the fat tyres, absolutely zero problem. The mid suspension seems to be doing a job. Front suspension seems to be doing a job. Grips are nice and comfortable. Pedals are holding me feet. Brakes are stopping me. Seat isn't uber comfy, but it's not uncomfy. I've had a lot worse bike seats. A lot worse bike seats. But, yeah, it's not the best bike seat. I'm about 10 mile in now, and I've just lost my first bar of battery out of 5. I have been using the higher settings a little bit on the roads, so that's going to drain it a bit, but, you know, I'm still confident that this would easily, even on some of the higher settings, get you 40-50 mile. You'll cruise 30 mile. Yeah. Coming into really bumpy parts now. The suspension again is doing its job. The temptation's there just to absolutely rag it, full pelt, get home and have a cup of coffee. But I want to test all aspects. I can't wax lyrical about this bike for the review. Obviously, it's got some drawbacks. 15 miles in, and the saddle is definitely not my friend. As I say, it's not the worst saddle I've ever tried, definitely ain't the best. And the snatchiness of the power and the speed it kicks in could get some people in trouble if they're not expecting it. If you're coming along a cycle path and you've been in Power Assist 5, you've slowed right down to let a dog walk past, whatever, boom, it kicks straight in. I'm only in 3 and you saw it yourself there. Again, I'll slow right down, boom, and you actually feel it. Brakes. Awesome. 1, and you're off. I would prefer different handlebars as well, but that could be said for all of these style of bikes. These are comfortable enough, the handle grip's comfortable enough. I'm sorry about the angle. My bleeding mount is dropping my Insta360 right down, and it's a bumpy old track. Not that I'd notice, because this is a full suspension e-bike. Cuckoo, cuckoo! Forgive the jaunty angle, but my camera mount has proper just blown a grandmother and given up the ghost. So bear with it. There is no rattles, no bangs, no clunks. The gears are changing well. It handles lovely. Don't know what to tell you. I'm trying not to be too ecstatic about this bike, but other than the seat invading my rear, there's not really a great deal to complain about. There really bleeding ain't. What am I now? Pedal assist free, cruising 18 mile an hour down an empty cycle path at stupid o'clock in the morning. Oh, that bump come out of nowhere. Better let people around the corner know I'm coming. Inoffensive. But there it is, that kick of power straight in. If you're not ready for it, you could end up in a hedge. Of course, you could always keep the settings within UK legal limits, even though the motor isn't. And if you're happy to ride at 15.5 mile an hour, obviously your range will be better than I'm going to get today. Every part of it still is going to be just as good. You're going to get that, I think it's 80 Newton meters of torque up hills. That's absurd. Ah, right. I've got some downsides for you. Again, as with all of these other e-bikes that I keep getting, and e-bike manufacturers, listen up. All of your brakes are on the wrong bleeding way round, for the UK at least. Look, a little red squirrel. Little red squirrel. Look at him run. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, your brakes are on the wrong way round. Sort it out. So I am 20 mile in and I officially dislike this seat. 20 mile in on an e-bike like this is the equivalent of about 5 miles on a normal bike. Yeah, my bum ain't enjoying it at all. So there's a negative review for you. The seat sucks. Ain't hard to buy a new bleeding seat. Or it could just be me. There's never ever been a comfortable bike seat. So I'm 25 mile in now. I have been having fun for the last 10 mile and cranked the power right up through these back roads, and you just fly 25, 28 mile an hour, zero effort. I am now coming to the last big, long, drawn out hill that normally has me sweating at the top on a normal bike and has the other e-bikes struggling. Again, I'm just ghost pedaling at the moment. I'm on the hill, doing 26 mile an hour. Ghost pedaling. It gets a bit steeper here. It's slowing down to 22. Now I'm pedaling with it. Still in top gear, mind, 8th gear. And as you can hear by my talking, not putting in any effort. 18 mile an hour, 19 mile an hour. Yes, we should be allowed 750 watt motors in this country, 100%. Yes, we should be allowed to go up to 30 mile an hour in this country. This has been an utter joy to ride. Obviously hill climbing is no problem. I'm still sitting on half battery power after 26 miles. I'll just let this car go and then, oh come on mate, and then I'll try a little bit of trail riding to see how she handles. Obviously this isn't meant for off-road. Light off-road, absolutely, but it's not exactly a mountain bike. But you can I've just lost my Insta360 mic adapter and receiver. So the audio is going to be panned from this moment on. So after 26.5 miles, I've still got half a battery. A lot of that was used on the higher power settings. The power this thing gives you, certainly up hills and from the acceleration on either the pedals or the throttle, is almost instant. It's the best cadence sensor I've ever ridden in that respect. What I would say is, certainly in the higher power assist levels, is it can take you by surprise. So be prepared for that. Obviously it's not UK legal. It does come restricted to the 15.5 mile an hour, and the throttle only works at a walking pace. Very easy to disengage. As I say, it has got indicators. I didn't show them, they're flashing lights. They're part of the brakes. Whether or not you're going to really be able to determine if they're indicators or not from behind, but they're there. The lights are powerful, more than enough to illuminate you if you're riding in the dark. Screen is really good. Comfort, the seat wasn't the most comfortable, but other than that, the ride has been absolutely effortless, completely effortless. I've really enjoyed this bike. The upgrades to the other bike I tested, which I absolutely loved, as I say, better forks, better wheels, better tyres, better brakes or bigger brakes. What else was it? The addition of indicators. Where it falls down, and my personal opinion, is the fact that this is a cadence sensor. I prefer torque sensors. So I'm comparing this to my Engine Pro 2.0, which I love. Got a comparable top speed, even though this gets there a lot quicker. But the torque sensor for me is the seller. If you like your cadence sensors, because it does away with the need of a throttle, you can just ghost pedal this bike all day long. If you're given this bike, or if you want a bike that can do up to 30 mile an hour with minimal effort, have a decent range, I'm going to say this can do 60 miles as long as you're not cranking it up to max the whole time. On my little test, I done 12 to 13 miles, just cruising along, pedal assist 2, sometimes 3, and then the last 12 or 13 miles, cranked it right up, pedal assist 4 and 5, and flew. I've still got half a battery. So, you know, 60 miles is very achievable on this. I don't know what their range is, it doesn't say in the booklet. Samsung battery, Bafang motor. It is an absolutely cracking bike. Absolutely cracking bike. Just wish it was torque sensor. It claims it can climb up to a 30% hill, and I don't disbelieve it. I really don't. It's the finish, not a problem with it at all. Again, you've got the agricultural type welding, don't mind it. Nice paint job. It's a really good bike. Price wise, I think, give or take about 1200–1300 quid, not too sure. They change all the time, as I said earlier. Yeah, there'll be a link down below if you're interested. Have a look. If you do buy through there, I'll get a little kickback. It don't cost you anymore. If you don't, go somewhere else. Don't matter to me. What a bike. What a bike. It's hard for me doing these things and not being able to find any negatives. The seat, I don't like the seat. It has hurt me Aris. What else? My feet, when I'm sitting on the pedals, are sort of like that rather than on my tiptoes. But in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. It was comfy to ride. The suspension done its job. The flappy pedal handlebars were okay. The horn, which I keep turning the bike off, works absolutely fine. Is pretty inoffensive. Yeah, the worst thing about it is I lost my mic setup for me bleeding Insta360 because I was ragging it down country lanes. It handled trails okay, not a problem. It isn't a mountain bike. You've got to bear that in mind. It isn't a mountain bike. But I in no way felt out of control. I would perhaps prefer BMX style handlebars. You could put them on yourself. It would affect the foldability. The power it gives you is superb. Vitilan i7 Pro. I doff my cap to you people. That is a cracking bike. A proper cracking bike. Bear in mind, it is not UK legal because of the 750 watt motor. it looks like every other fat tyre folding e-bike. If you're not driving it like a knobhead through the streets, then you shouldn't get a tug. I wouldn't be too worried about getting the tug on this. Brakes work absolutely fine as well. Hydraulic disc brakes, which is brilliant. And I do like the upgrade of the Shimano Altus gear set. It means that when you're pedaling at 25 mile an hour, you're actually pedaling, not beating eggs. All in all, over the moon. Ta-ra!